It's 1994, baby, and video games are happening! It's Sonic 3 Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a trademark symbol that shows up on the title screen now. We're playing Sonic 3, and not Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I want to, and because it'll help split up a longer game into 2 shorter LPs, and I think it's just better for everyone involved, including me. So we're just gonna do it. We're doing it. This is the intro cutscene to Sonic 3. Sonic 3 has an intro cutscene. This is pretty well known by the general public at this point, and is not that special, but it's new for the Hey there, buddy. Wait, dude, hey, those are mine. Hey! Aww. Jeez. Come on. You know, I worked real hard to get those. I pressed the C button on the data file select screen. That's how hard I worked to get those Chaos Emeralds, because they're definitely not the ones I got in Sonic 2, because I didn't get any Sonic 2. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What about it makes Sonic the Hedgehog 3 the third Sonic the Hedgehog game? Well, you know. Could be the fact that it has Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for a title, but it might not be. There may be other reasons. I'm gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna decide. I'm not gonna go over here, actually. We're gonna go over here. This is one of the things that makes Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Instead of taking 50 rings to the end of the act, or to a checkpoint, a goalpost in Sonic 2, you just find these big rings that are scattered out in every zone, in every act of every zone. There's usually at least 2, sometimes more. I think maybe one act in the game has like 1, maybe. But you know what? I don't know that for sure, because I don't actually know everything about Sonic 3 compared to like how I quote-unquote know everything about Sonic CD, or, you know enough to get through Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. I like this game a lot, but I haven't played it that much. I don't know why, honestly. I should play it a little more. I should play it much more often than this. So this is the Sonic 3 special stage. Everyone just calls it blue spheres, because you get blue spheres, but you don't really get them. Like, there's a tally in the top left that's like, here's the blue spheres you still gotta get. But you're not really getting them. You're changing them to red, and then they're got, I guess. And we got a Chaos Emerald. It's worth noting this Chaos Emerald is probably actually not any of the Chaos Emeralds we just dropped that Red Dreadlocks dude just took from us. He has a name. I said it in this video already. But the game never says it, so I'm not going to say it. Nah, I'm kidding, his name's Knuckles. Can you imagine if that was the logic I operated on? I would have never called Metal Sonic in the Sonic CD LP. How goofy would that be? It'd just be so silly and quirky. Everyone would love all the weird quirks and nonsense of my Let's Play channel, but instead nobody loves those things. Sonic 3 has a rather distinct visual style compared to Sonic 1, 2, and Sonic CD, which all had distinct visual styles from each other, with Sonic 1 and 2 being the most similar, but still having some observable differences. You could almost put them on a spectrum, to some degree, of maybe like Sonic CD on the far end, and then Sonic 1, then Sonic 2, and then Sonic 3 on the other end, in terms of abstractness versus realism. You could do that if you wanted to. You know, maybe we should talk about like the things that are happening, because you may have noticed there are like things happening. I brought attention to the fact that there's an intro cutscene, just because, you know, it's new to the franchise. Sonic CD had one, but it wasn't presented to you at the beginning of the game. You had to wait on the title screen. It was a little divorced from the actual gameplay, being an FMV cinematic instead of being in-engine. And, you know, it's more cool spectacle than like setting the plot up much. Which it did set up Sonic CD's plot, but it's not like that's where you get to see Metal Sonic and Amy Rose for the first time or anything. Here, though, we get to see Sonic and Tails flying on Tails' plane, which is actually Sonic's plane, sorry. Sonic's plane, the tornado that only Tails flies ever. We get to see Tails flying it with Sonic riding on top, much like in Sky Chase in Sonic 2, and they're riding up to the floating island, which is not floating. If you had eyes and were watching the video, you may have observed this even. It's true, it was not floating, it was in the water. So what's so special about that? Well, it's just neat. And it establishes a precedent with Sonic 3's presentation. Sonic 3 as a game is much more focused on narrative than the previous Sonic games have been. It's not like it values narrative above all else, it just actually has a focus on it. It cares about it for once. Instead of there being the sporadic cutscene like in Sonic 1 where you have suddenly at the end of Scrap Brain Act 2, Eggman jumps on a switch and then Sonic falls into the water. Or in Sonic CD where suddenly at the beginning of Collision Chaos Act 1, Amy Rose is just there and then Metal Sonic shows up and takes her away, and that's that. Instead of it just being kind of every once in a while there's a consistency to how Sonic 3 presents its story and when it presents it. You know, another major thing that happened that we just kind of walked past happening, if that's a thing I can say, I've decided I've said it, was just this machine showing up and lighting the whole jungle on fire. That was a thing that just happened. And it wasn't even at the end of Act 1, it's just a thing that happened in Act 1. Oh, I can't get up there now. Actually, that's not true. I think this platform gets low enough that I can jump up there. Yes. There's quite a bit to talk about in terms of what makes Sonic 3 Sonic 3, and narrative is one of the big things. There's also a lot of gameplay stuff. I just picked up the Lightning Shield, or Thunder Barrier, if you prefer, and then I also just got rid of it immediately to pick up this Flame Shield, or Fire Barrier, if you prefer. It's cool. Sonic has this move I've used a couple of times called the Insta-Shield, or Twin Spin Attack. I think it's just kind of officially the Insta-Shield now, at least in English localizations, just because that's what they chose to call it in Sonic Mania, which was... I'm pretty sure before then it was just a fan name? Either that or it was only in the Sonic 3 US manual, or in like a strategy guide for Sonic 3 or something. One of those two. And it's cool. It's a like hitbox extending move. When you use it, Sonic can hit things that are just out of reach. It also makes you invulnerable for the brief duration that it happens, which also allows you to hit things that would normally hurt you. Or fly directly through things that would normally hurt you, like... I don't know, if you time it well, you could probably do it through like a beam of fire. That's the thing that happens in this game. We've already seen the Act 1 boss, which, by the way, they're Act 1 bosses. God, this is what I mean, like... listing off all the things that make Sonic 3 what it is, versus the other classic Sonic games, at least to this point, is a lot out the gate. There had never been bosses at the end of the first act in any Sonic game prior to this one. So that's cool. There's more bang for your buck, to some degree. to some degree, if we're talking about just Sonic 3 alone. So with the shields that I got that have these elements attached, I said tied, have these elements attuned to them. Or they're attuned to elements, if I want to make that sentence actually make any sense. They actually changed that Twin Spin Attack move that Sonic has. Oh no, I'm not gonna get a perfect. I wasn't paying attention. Oh well. It replaces the Insta-Shield with a different move. In the case of the Electric Shield, it's a double jump that's really cool. In the case of the Flame Shield, it's an air dash that's also really cool. There's a third shield we'll be seeing momentarily. Like, no joke, within a couple moments as soon as we get out of here. If you time an air dash through there well, you won't get caught on the ceiling and you'll get to keep your Flame Shield if you want. Both the Flame Shield and Electric Shield just disappear when you touch water. Because, you know, that mostly makes sense. And there's the third one, it's the bubble shield, or the aqua barrier, if you prefer. It gives you this cool bounce move, which honestly is super situationally useful, and as a result never really reaches the same heights in utility as the electric shield and flame shield. But I like it a lot. It's real charming, and if it hasn't been obvious on my channel yet, I have a pretty firm attachment to water-themed stuff in video games. So, I like it. I like it a lot. And those are all just things. On top of their active abilities that they have that replace the insta-shield, they also have passive abilities too. The electric shield protects you from electric hazards, kinda unsurprisingly, but it also attracts rings in toward you, which is neat. The flame shield protects you from flame hazards, of course. And there aren't any water hazards for the bubble shield to protect you from, but it does prevent you from drowning when you're in water, which is kind of a water hazard. So it fits well enough. Actually, I want to go down here, because we have another special stage here. You know, just casually picking up more Chaos Emeralds before we're even done with the first zone. That's Sonic 3 for you. You can just do that. If you know where all of the special stage rings are, you can get the Chaos Emeralds whenever you want. As long as you're good at blue spheres. Maybe now's a good time to talk about it. We've gotten a fair bit of stuff out of the way. This is blue spheres. You touch the blue spheres, they become red spheres. If you touch a red sphere, you leave. You get kicked out. You're not allowed to participate in blue sphere anymore. You get banned from the blue sphere community. Jeez, what'd you do to deserve that? Oh, you touched a red sphere? Yeah. You know, I'm not sure we can be friends anymore. I don't really like associating with people who touch red spheres. If you have a group of blue spheres, let's see, is this about where I was? Perfect. Let's get back into the mix. If you touch a group of blue spheres that's at least 3 by 3 big, it can be bigger, and it can be in shapes that are not squares, if you saw the big cross shape that I did in the center. Oh, that's a tough one at high speed. Then they all turn into rings, including the red spheres that you... I didn't describe that well. If you encircle the 3 by 3 grid like that, then they all turn into rings. All the red spheres on the outside and all of the blue spheres encapsulated on the inside. If you pick up all possible rings in a blue sphere stage, you get perfect. I think that gets you a continue, or getting 50 rings gets you a continue. I wasn't paying attention. It's one or the other. But getting a perfect also gets you the score bonus. If you're into score attacking stuff, then that's fun. I just like to do it because I think it's neat. It's fun, and it's a fun challenge that's consistently rewarding for me for some reason. Just gets the dopamine flowing, and that's what matters when you're playing a video game, I guess. So blue spheres are good. It's at this chronological point, of the 4 classic Sonic games we've played, it is my second favorite special stage, right after Sonic CDs. I'm surprised I made that jump. Wow. The bubble shield noise is also, like, actually perfect. It's literally actually perfect. It's just very good. It's underrated. Oh, I guess we'll just leave that ring there. I decided to run off when I thought I was gonna pick it up, and then didn't. I was just gonna leave it alone. That's fine. That's the choice I made. So blue spheres is pretty good. It's pretty alright. It's significantly better than Sonic 2's, at the very least, and a fair bit better than Sonic 1's. That's all cool. That's all cool and good. There's a boss that's going to show up right now. Ooh, can I safely get away from this? Nope! That was a bad idea. That was actually factually a bad idea. Oh no, we're good. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to show off a goofy thing that I want to show off. It just means I gotta backtrack really quick. Get this bubble shield again. There is a flame shield that's near the boss that would be useful for it, since, much like the Act 1 boss, you can cheese the Act 2 boss with a Flame Shield because all of the attacks it uses and the jet flames that are keeping the Eggmobile up in the air don't do any damage to you if you have a Flame Shield. It's very, very good. Also, it's very fun going through this set piece where you just hold forward the whole time when you have Tails, because he either spends the whole time getting really close to you and then skidding because he doesn't want to actually run past you, even though he couldn't, presumably. He would be capped at the same middle of the screen point that Sonic is. But he's trying. Or he spends it getting hit repeatedly by bombs being dropped by Eggman's flying ship there. Is it a flying battery? I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, get away, get away. If you have a Flame Shield, it's actually completely doable and safe to do that strategy, because you can just bounce on him the whole 8 times and then air dash away back to safety. Now the egg capsule just kind of floats in from the sky. It's interesting. Who knows why it does that? You know, just for no reason at all. We're gonna wait until it's about the right side of the screen here. That's it. That was Angel Island Zone. We're in a place right now. The intro cutscene established us flying in on Sonic's plane, the Tornado. Going to, hey, it's that guy again. Hey, hold on. Hey, wait, no, hold on. Aw, really? It's not low enough for me to get up there, huh? I thought I could do this with the bubble shield, but I guess maybe I need, guess I need the lightning shield. Oh well. I want to have some one-on-one with Knuckles, but that's okay. I wanted to go over there, but I think it's possible when you fall from the beginning of the level to rude. To fall over to the upper path there. Oh, extra rude. Well, let's find out. I think I wasn't holding right immediately? What's the difference? No, you just can't. That's fine. Just gonna hop over to the left here and get some more rings because it's fun and good. Hi, Tails. We're on a place called the Floating Island, but it's not floating right now. Something has happened to cause it to crash into the ocean, which is what brought Sonic and Tails here to begin with. They're just like, huh, that's weird. An island fell out of the sky and made a loud noise and a large splash of water everywhere. Huh, I wonder if we should investigate, and they decide to investigate. Because, you know, that's just the kind of peoples that they are, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know why the invincibility music starts up again when you pick up a bubble shield there. I don't know, I feel like I've only ever noticed it happening there, but maybe it happens in other places too. Just a weird thing. This is Hydro City Zone. I'm so scatterbrained this LP right now, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll talk about everything I want to in due time. But this is Hydro City Zone. It's a pretty cool zone. It's the first good water level in the franchise, so that's an accomplishment. Ah, rude. I liked my bubble shield. I wanted to keep my bubble shield, but instead, I get an extra life, because I'm capable of getting 100 rings. Well, I guess we're not going that way, and I guess we're not keeping those rings. That's fine, I could have gotten another extra life, but I'll just live with my follies. Like most people, I suppose. Oh, slow down. Oh, no. So we're on the floating island. As it turns out, this is just kind of a place that Knuckles lives in. It's just where he's been this whole time, why he exists now in the Sonic universe, but, you know, never heard of the guy before Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. Not that we need that explanation or anything, it's just... I just felt like saying things that way, I suppose. Huh. Can we go over in here? We can. What's in here? It's rings. Well, I like rings, so I think that was worthwhile. Something has caused the floating island to not be floating. It's in the ocean now, and I think sometimes the floating island is called Angel Island, but I'm pretty sure it's just called the floating island, and Angel Island Zone is an area on the floating island. Oh, this blue sphere is not my favorite. It's kind of my not favorite. Kind of similar to the second one, but not entirely. Oh no, I'm not gonna get my perfect. I also have to do a two-sphere jump. Very risky, very dangerous, but sometimes it's necessary. That's fine, we don't need to get a perfect, we just need to be good. Or, yeah, no need be perfect, only need be kind. That's fine. Something else I'd like to point out about blue spheres is kind of fun. At least in this game, all of the colors of the tiles in the ground in each blue sphere stage are based on all of the zones in Sonic 3's color palettes in sequence, in zone order. Nope, that's where I was from came. We wanna... Hold on, where we wanna go? Where are we dropping? Wow, I can't believe I just said that. Nobody, like, says that even as a joke anymore. Hey, am I, like, stuck over here? Is that my reality here? It is possible to jump between spheres, but oh, okay, here we go this way. It is possible to jump between spheres and not touch them, but boy, is the timing garbage and hard. Cool, so if I hadn't messed up that first cluster of 9, we would have a perfect right now. Oh, I missed that one. I jumped too early. No, I didn't. Because I didn't jump at all. I just ran right into it. Let's try to get back on some semblance of a train of thought. We're in Hydro City right now. Some people call it Hydrocity, that's fine. I'm not going to call it Hydrocity, I'm going to call it Hydro City. In fact, you know what? I'm still not going to complain about people who say Hydro City, or sorry, who say Hydrocity, but I am going to explain why I call it Hydro City and why I think it objectively is Hydro City. Aw, I lost my bubble shield. It is maybe possible to avoid getting damaged by this boss if you use the instant shield well, but I don't know how to. Anyway. So all of these zones in Sonic games were named in Japanese first, right? That's the thing. It's true. It's objectively true most of the time, I think. As in, they were named by people whose first language is Japanese, and they weren't concerned with, like, if it needed a localizing to English, or if it needed a localizing for English-speaking territories, if anything seemed like it was awkward or anything, you know? Oop, don't want to go back, I want to go forward. We're getting chased by a huge wall right now, and that's freaky. And so you can actually find in, like, the Sonic 3 manual Japanese romanized names for all the zones, i.e. just interpreting the written-out English name for the zone through Japanese characters, specifically katakana. So... Oh no, I'm just jumping on the spikes for no reason. Oh well. If you look at the way Hydro City is romanized, it's, I believe, Hydro City. Like, it's very clearly Hydro City, and not, Hydro City. That makes a difference. It implies that through emphasizing the O sound in Hydro instead of making it Hydra, it implies that yes, it's meant to be pronounced Hydro City. And the reason it's City and not City is because there is no C or Si, for that matter, sound in Japanese. It just doesn't exist. So that's the only way they can properly interpret words that have Si sounds in them, like city. Now you know. I hope that made any sense at all. It made sense to me, but I feel like I really blubbermouthed it. Anyway, this is a good zone. It's a rather fast-paced water zone, but even the water platforming in it is very, like, non-vindictive to the player compared to, like, Aquatic Ruin or Labyrinth. So it's not a good water zone just because you spend a lot of it out of the water. I'd honestly think that's kind of a negative for interpreting it as a good water zone, because it shies away from actually trying to be a good water zone in that way. But when it is putting you in the water sections, it's doing a good job with it. It's a lot more enjoyable than past water zones in the franchise. Maybe on par with, like, Tidal Tempest. Maybe a little better than Tidal Tempest, honestly. I think I just like Tidal Tempest more than it deserves to be liked. Which, you know, that's just how it is. I kind of talked over it because I was making a big deal over reacting to the things that were happening on screen, but not, like, talking about them, just having fun doing silly Let's Play things, you know. Oh, jeez. Don't get crushed. But there was a cutscene between the end of Angel Island and the start of Hydro City, which, again, is Sonic 3's focus on narrative. Oh no, I got bumped and now I won't jump as high. I wanted to go up there, but I always forget not to hold right. Is it over here that there's a special— oh, rude! Come on. I can't remember if it's over here that there's a special stage. No, it's somewhere else. That's fine. Hop on over here and get myself an extra life. I might need them. Honestly, Sonic 3 gets a little hard. I always make the wrong decision against those enemies, like, consistently. There was a cutscene between the last zone and this one, and then also there's this cutscene right here. It's happening right now. Hi, Knuckles. Bye, Knuckles. If you jump, you get to barely see him laugh. If you jump a little higher, you might be able to see him laugh a little more easily. He laughs. He's a chuckler. That's the joke. Knuckles don't chuckle except for when he does. This boss is kind of neat, honestly. Sonic 3's focus on narrative I want to talk about. Every zone is properly linked together in some capacity. It doesn't even have to be a big capacity, it's just a consistent implication that you're going from one place to another, and that there's a reason for you to be going from one place to another. Either that's where you happen to end up after you move on from one place, or there's a definite, like, connection point between two areas. For example, like, Angel Island was directly above Hydro City. As soon as you fall into the water, that's where you end up. Here, though, we just get blasted out into the air, and where we end up falling is, like, who knows how far away in Marble Garden. Like, that's kind of cool. They're not necessarily implied to be closely related or anything, it's clearly explained how you get from one place to another. Sonic 3 cares about this modest level of presentation, and for the time in 1994, that was really cool. And even now, it's just a nice little treat. It's not like it's anything big, it's just, it helps the whole game feel contiguous, and like it's properly one big adventure. Oh. Yeah, sometimes with these little Crusher gates, the Crusher code gets a little confused. Oops. Incidentally, this is my favorite zone in Sonic 3. I like the music a lot, I like the aesthetics a lot, the mix of cool colors in the palette is really nice. They're all very vivid, but not eye-searing. Oh, I'm gonna get hurt. And just kind of the way the mountains are colored purple is such a cool aesthetic. Now's a good time to talk about, again, what I was talking about earlier with, like, the terrain and the art style versus the previous three Sonic games. I said that Sonic 3 was kind of on the more realistic end, and I wouldn't say that that's actually like a full statement. I'm not saying that Sonic 3 is realistic in its art style, it's just more realistic. And what that really means is that it cares for detail a little more. I think I vaguely remember mentioning, I hope I didn't just think I mentioned this, because I know I wanted to mention this. But I think I remember mentioning that Sonic 3's art style, in terms of like the level terrain and such, is a little messy, a little dirty, And again, that's not a bad thing when it comes to art style. There are many cool things that can come out of a grimier art style, and grimy is still kind of not the right word, but like look at the bricking. You can see in the brickwork here that there's all this detail to cracks and bumps in it through the use of shading and highlights. And that stuff didn't really come up much in Sonic 1, 2, and CD. In those games, you more often saw bricks that are really consistently shaped, but will have like imagery in them, say like in Labyrinth Zone. All of the bricks are really clean and smooth, but every once in a while in the pattern you would see one brick or two bricks that have like a face or some other symbol kind of etched into them. What it kind of looks like. So this game tends to focus less on the geometric aspect of kind of like Sonic level art, and focuses more on bringing detail to that idea of a geometric world. Everything in this game is very detailed, at least in comparison to the previous 3 Sonic games, and that's just the kind of aesthetic it goes for. And I think it really works. The level art in Sonic 3 is incredibly captivating, in my opinion, especially in places like Marble Garden, like I said, and in Angel Island. Angel Island is also absolutely gorgeous. Though if you stop and look at the art in Angel Island, you might notice, like, I don't know, some places where it looks a little crusty, maybe, and I am using that word maybe in a more negative sense compared to other terms I've been using. It goes kind of past the boundary of less clean for the sake of implying detail. And implying is a really important word here, because a lot of what's being done here with the graphics isn't we put a detail down, it's we put down some pixels, and we're fairly certain your brain will try to interpret it as detail. And it does, it works. So when I'm saying crusty, it's not that, it's we deliberately didn't clean this up, and it looks like it has some rough edges. You see that a bit in some of the foliage in Angel Island. It's kind of why using the word not clean doesn't entirely work either, because there's quite a bit of, especially like this zone, that's really clean. There's very little in the art assets for Marble Garden that doesn't use a lot of color blocking. Like, look at the grass, it's just these clear strains of at least 2x2 pixel bright green colors, and it just kind of implies grass, and it works really well, but it's also fairly clean and not like extra muddy, because it's always got that minimum width. If it was all 1x1 pixels that were just kind of side by side constantly, it would start to blur together a little more, and keeping it with that kind of minimum width of 2 pixels gives it some body, if that makes any sense. It always feels like it's clearly readable, not strains of grass, blades. Always readable blades of grass standing up. That sort of thing. And the further you go into muddying the waters, so to speak, with pixel art, adding in lots of like just individual pixels here and there, individual lines, thin lines of pixels to add detail. The messier it becomes, the harder it becomes to read it objectively as something, and most of the time the worse it looks. Not always, but in a lot of cases the worse it will look. That's cool, I just spent like a good few minutes blathering on about level art. That's fun, right? Everyone likes that. Speaking of level art, it's not just the music that changes going into Act 2. Sonic 3 does another really nice aesthetic thing where every act in every zone has its own background. So when you go from Act 1 to Act 2, it doesn't... Oh my god, that's another big thing that I need to talk about. I'll get to in just a second, in regards to the act transitions, but... Instead of it just going from Act 1 to Act 2 and just feeling like, okay, you're in a new level design, but it's the same place, you get this actual sense of progression because the world keeps consistent elements in the foreground, but the background changes just enough that, again, it's still recognizable it's the same world, but it feels like something has changed. It feels like you're going somewhere. This sign wants me to go up there, but I don't got a top, so I can't fly up there. And on that subject of the Act 1 to Act 2 transition, it's seamless now. It's all one big level now. You get a checkpoint at the start of Act 2, but that doesn't mean that there's like a clean fade out and fade in. Instead, you stay in the same spot, and Act 2 just starts there. And that's another major way that Sonic 3 uses its game structure to forge that feeling of continuity through the game's whole progression, which is really cool. So I've given Marble Garden a lot of praise, but that's just because I'm a very aesthetics-focused person when it comes to games. I'm very easily swayed by some good-looking games, some good-sounding games especially. Love me a game with a good music, good soundtrack, a good music. But a lot of people... A lot of people don't like Marble Garden because of that enemy. Bubbles, it's called, for some reason. And also, they also don't like it because of the spinning top gimmick, which I totally understand. It's really awkward to work with, it's not very conducive to the gameplay flow that 2D Sonic games have, especially if this game does well otherwise. It's kind of... I think most people will consider it the low point of Sonic 3, and you know what? I might still agree with that. So hopefully it says a lot that I still really like Marble Garden Zone when I can concur with that. Also, this background is gorgeous. Down here I love all the curly foliage going on. Such a pretty look. It looks like hair, actually. It looks like green hair. But you know what? That's pretty. It's all flowy and curly. Get yourself some plants that look like hair today. Am I gonna be going left or am I gonna be going right? I'm going right. Yeah, the spinning top is super weird. For one, you have to like exert so much speed on it just to get going somewhere in a certain direction, and going up with it also, and you gotta be careful when you time it so you don't get hurt by stuff. It's real awkward and funky, but it's okay. It's totally fine. It doesn't protect you at all, which sucks. I kind of wanted to keep that, but that's okay. Oh, as it turns out, I kind of needed to keep it. I think that's what just happened. So let's go get another. Yay! That's the other thing, is your progress is often gated without one of them. It is pretty frustrating. It's some of the more frustrating design in this game. Guess we're gonna go this way instead. That's okay. Who knows what was up there? I don't. Guess I don't care either. Yeah, why would we want to go up there? This is the way that directly takes us to the boss. Hey, man. He likes to show up a couple of times through Act 2 and just make life annoying by causing earthquakes that terraform the land. Huh, there's an electric shield up there. I haven't gotten any special stage rings in Marble Garden, but it's worth noting that if you know where all of them are, there's enough in both Acts 1 and 2 that you can get all the Chaos Emeralds just in Marble Garden alone. But I'm not very good at it, because I'm not very practiced at that. I tend to get my last Chaos Emeralds in the next zone, which we'll get to shortly, because we're almost done with Marble Garden at this point. Dang, we've been here a little bit. More than 5 minutes. So the spinning tops in Marble Garden are kind of annoying. These little wheels that you bop with your spin dash, that you can bounce off of if you spin dash on top of them, that make platforms rise up or lower. Very good. Just perfect. Mwah. Love them. Only good video games have them. This is a fact. You can get some hits in on Eggman right here before he shoves his drill into the ground and kills you. Nah, I'm kidding. Tails is here to help us. This boss is pretty cool. Oh, I didn't want to jump off. I pressed the jump button as if I was controlling Tails' flight, but I'm not. Speaking of Tails' flight, it's neat that you can actually hit Eggman with Tails' tails while he's flying, just like you can if you are playing as Tails. You can hit enemies with his tails. Very cool. That's Marble Garden. If you don't appreciate the aesthetics of Marble Garden, I don't know, I guess we can't be friends. I don't know. I like the music in Carnival Night a lot, honestly. I mean, Sonic 3 is just a good soundtrack in general, but just like... ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. It's just really good. I wish we knew who composed this, though. There aren't solid composer credits for Sonic 3, unfortunately. We know who composed some of the music, but not all of it, or even most of it. Which is really sad. Oh well. At least, you know, we know Masato Nakamura didn't compose any of it, so we can guarantee that Sega can just pull the music out whenever they want. Which they've done for Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania. I never brought this one back though, I'd love it if they did. It's a real classic. I want to get on that barrel. There we go. So this is Carnival Night Zone. It's kind of our casino night for this game. It doesn't have any of the casino stuff. It's not a casino, but it does have kind of the bumpery stuff that Casino Night and Spring Yard had. Jump. No. Huh. Am I even supposed to be going up here? I actually don't know. We're gonna go somewhere else, I think. All these weird gimmicks that mostly serve just to kind of toss you around. They've got the Scrap Brain discs, which are fun. Oh wow, I never actually made that jump before. I don't think I knew that there was a ring here. This is cool. This is first-time knowledge. Welcome back to Blue Spheres. But it's okay, we're almost done with Blue Spheres. This is already the 6th one. Dang, we're already on the 6th one. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, you can get them real early if you know where to go. You can also get them really easy if you're good at Blue Spheres. And Blue Spheres is not that hard to be good at. Though there is one kind of like extra challenge with Blue Spheres that I hadn't mentioned yet, which is that the longer you stay in, the faster it gets. But I'm sure you noticed that already. Okay, time to close off these pathways. This one's fun. You gotta get all these ones that kind of act as gates. Of course, since it is possible to jump over 2 blue spheres at a time, you can use that to your advantage to get around safely. We're gonna just do that right now. Double back on that. Close off paths we don't want to take. Oh yeah, you get to continue at 50. Okay, cool. So that's correct. I guess the perfect bonus is just for score. You know, if you like that sort of thing. We're just gonna do this. Oh, well now, wait, I already got it perfect. Oh, that just means the only ones left are, blue spheres that are acting as gates. There we go. I know what I'm doing. And now I don't have to have my hands on the controller at all. It's perfect. Works out perfectly. Good. we've almost got them all. The other thing is we're already halfway through Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is not a very long game. It can get kind of extended, just like any other Sonic game, by playing the special stages, but it's not a very long game. It just isn't. In fact, I'm really curious what the time is going to come out to on this LP. Let's go up this way for some reason. There's like all sorts of pathways in Carnival Night Zone, and I always forget which ones are going backwards and which ones aren't. Kind of hard for me to remember for some reason. I think most of the time you want to go to the right, but sometimes you want to go to the left, and... oh, I just fell off. I don't remember when those times are. I don't remember. No, I want to get past you. Because I don't like you. What is over here? There's a Batbot. Who here likes Batbot? Oh, this is a place. This is a place you can come out of. So yeah, I think I'm going backwards now. Well, you know, also much like Carnival Night Zone, or Casino Night Zone, Carnival Night is kind of a play-around zone. You just go places and have fun. Goof around. Goof around now? Yeah. Oh, and what do you know? Another special stage ring. Let's get it, my dudes. This one is the hardest special stage that Sonic 3 has. It's still not that bad, but it has some tricky spots. Kind of the most ideal way to do it often involves jumping over red spheres. Which, this is the first time the game requires that you do it. Or, actually, I think it still doesn't require it, but I think it's the first time the game more expressly asks that you do it instead of it being a thing that it kind of asks you to do because you set something up for yourself in that way. No, in this case it's just, well, what else are you gonna do? The game says to you. I didn't actually have to make that jump. I know I can walk all the way around, make my way to those spheres differently. Speaking of which, here's the other one. The other big thing about this special stage is that it's totally symmetrical, I believe. On a certain axis, it's just the same on both sides. Dang, we're like, you know... We're getting places. After this, we won't have any more blue spheres to do. There'll still be big rigs in the world, though, which is interesting. That's that. That's all the Chaos Emeralds. Pick up our light blue Chaos Emerald and be on our way. Oh, he sure did. Yes. Slowly count down my perfect bonus. Yes, award me that continue. Yes, tell me I can be supersonic. One of the only major missteps about stuff in this game is that when you have all the Chaos Emeralds and you want to go super, you can't use your insta-shield. I believe you can't go, yeah, you can't go super if you have a shield. This is an improvement on Sonic 2, because in Sonic 2, if you had 50 rings after you got all the Chaos Emeralds and you jumped at all, you would just go super at that point. So there was no avoiding it once you had all the Chaos Emeralds, basically, unless you kept your ring count real low. Like, intentionally. In this case, though, if you have 50 or more rings, and you jump and press the jump button again, that's when you'll turn super. Like I said, it's still kind of a misstep. It's not ideal, just because if you don't have a shield, that means you can't use the insta-shield without turning super. If you do have a shield, though... oh, I lost my shield. Well, I guess let's go super. If you don't have if you do have a shield, though, you can't turn super at all, which I guess that's a trade-off. But then you just drop your shield to go super, I guess. So yeah, that's what happens when you super turn. You go yellow. Oh god. I thought something got really weird on Sonic's signpost for a moment, but no, it was just a 0 in front of his eye. Oh, that looked so weird. That really took me out of it. Welcome to, more water. Kind of a thing with Sonic 3 is that almost every zone has water in it somewhere. I mean... Marble Garden is the only one without. Oh, it's so annoying to get onto, that barrel for some reason. Just a weird thing. Who knows, maybe they would have wanted to put water in Marble Garden also. I don't know. Who can say? Who couldn't say? Maybe. Does anyone want to come forth on their inability to have said? I want what's over there, whether or not I should reasonably have it. No? This setup is so annoying, because consistently, you get hit by that enemy, and then it drops you into that spring. In fact, you know what, I'm giving up. It's not that big a deal, I'm pretty sure it's just either invincibility or an extra life, it's one or the other. It's over there. You get this weird platform in Act 2. I like it, but it's weird. I don't know what it is. I always thought of it as like a balloon platform, but I don't know what it actually is. If that's accurate. No clue. Oh, well now I have to use the cannon. Another Act 2 gimmick. Oh. Time your shot good, and then do it. It's good. It's video games, it's gameplay. If you've heard anything about Carnival Night Zone in Sonic 3, you may have heard of the barrel. This is not the barrel. There are several barrels in Sonic 3, or in Carnival Night in Sonic 3. Only one of them is infamous. We'll get to it in a moment. I was able to make that barrel go up and down, and that's a cool thing. You could just know that that's a thing you can do. But most people who didn't know you can do that, you do it by pressing up and down with good timing. Most people who didn't know you could do that, especially when they were kids playing this game for the first time, well, you know what they did? They just jumped on it. And they just kept jumping on it, and they hoped that they would jump on it with good enough timing to make it go high enough. Also, Knuckles is here again. He's just really a thorn in our sides this whole game. So far, he has only not bugged us in one zone, and that being Marble Garden. Who knows why? He just didn't feel like coming all the way up to the mountains, I guess. Maybe that's a testament to how far away Marble Garden is from Hydro City, that he wasn't able to get there so quick, and he instead stationed out here in Carnival Night to get our butts. It's totally possible. Oh no! Spun dash in the wrong direction. Spin dashed? Spun dashed? Uh-oh. That's drowning. But it's not us drowning. I mean, it was obvious it was not us because the music wasn't playing, but I don't know, I just decided to talk about it that way for some reason. Speaking of music, the music in Carnival Night Act 2 is also very good. Kind of the only music I'm not really a big fan of in Sonic 3 is Launch Bass. It's just kind of okay, but we'll get there. We don't even know what Launch Bass is yet. No, we'll get to it. I didn't actually mean to turn super. It just kind of happened, and I'm fine with it. I just wasn't thinking. I haven't played Sonic 3 in such a long time, and I'm also not used to knowing well where all of the special stage rings are in Sonic 3, so I'm not used to having all of them by this point, so it just kind of caught me off guard. But we're super now. That's okay. It's good, even. Unfortunately, Sonic cannot insta-shield while he's super. There's actually, like, a coding reason for it, which is so goofy. It's because the way the insta-shield works graphically is that it uses the same space in the game's VRAM, that's, I think, visual RAM or video RAM, I think it's video RAM, which is used for graphics that are currently loaded into memory and can be pulled up on the fly when needed. This is the barrel, by the way. If you don't know that you can press up and down rhythmically to get it to move further up and further down, you might think you have to jump on it repeatedly to get it to do that. And it will never go low enough for you to get off it. Ever. It's not possible. At least to my knowledge. If it is possible, it's incredibly difficult, and no one that I know has ever managed it in real time. Maybe it's something you could do with tool assistance and stuff. Maybe. The point that I was talking about a moment ago... Oh no, I can't go up there now, even if I wanted to, even though there's no reason to. It's just another special stage ring up there. It would give us 50 rings, which is cool. It's just a good and nice thing. Wait, no, it's up here. Yes! Excellent. The insta-shield uses the same spot in VRAM in Sonic 3 as the elemental shield graphics. And what also uses the same spot there are the sparkles for invincibility and the sparkles that trail behind you when you're super. So they just don't let you use the insta-shield so it doesn't use the wrong graphics when you try to use it when you're super. That's just that. Oh, whoa. I'm bouncing on him. I've actually never done this before, because you can't normally get up there. I guess if you had an electric shield like I did, then you could. But normally you can't get up there high enough to do that to him. Interestingly, you can't have a shield and transform, but you can pick up a shield after transforming. Just interesting. Bye, Tails. See you later. It's ice cap time. This is a jolly fun place. It's this cold, desolate... Well, not that desolate, but you know, it is pretty bright, to be honest, but like this cold mountaintop. Mountain range, actually. This is fun, bouncy music. It's good. I like Ice Cap Zone. It has a really cool aesthetic to it. This is the most geometric level in the game, visually. I mean, look at all the hexagons everywhere. They're everywhere. Just a level made of hexagons. My friend Tyler would really like this place, I think. It's got this interesting gimmick where you have to... Well, actually, it has this more interesting gimmick I should talk about first, where the level loops vertically in certain sections. We've seen this before, actually. We've seen it before in this game, in Marble Garden. But I didn't really draw attention to it. It's a thing. It's just not super obvious in Marble Garden Zone. They do that to extend the ability of the level design to keep going up. But they did it in ways that are really, like, masked in Marble Garden. It isn't a focus in the way that, like, it is here, in that you end up in a section that loops vertically and you can tell you're in a loop that's just going on over and over. But we've seen it even before this game, because either all of the acts or some of the acts in Metropolis Zone in Sonic 2 also looped vertically. And I hated it there. It's much better utilized in this game. Oh, my shield that I liked. It gave me a lot of rings that I liked. Let's go super for fun. And just get rid of the music. You know, it wouldn't be so bad that being super gets rid of the level music if it weren't for the fact that this game doesn't have unique music for being super. Sonic 2 did. Not that Sonic 2's super music loop wasn't like super short and kind of grating also, but here it's so short, it's just like a handful of seconds. It's just the regular invincibility theme, and it just beats down on you when you have to listen to it for a long period, but you know, that's the price you pay when you want to be invincible and fast, I guess. I interacted with that platform in a lot of weird ways. we're already at the boss. It's pretty quick. This boss is okay. It's kind of annoying to hit if you're not invincible. But that's okay. Sometimes bosses can be that. Oh, the weird memory that just got accessed for some reason. People on the internet have talked for a long time about like gas stations in the middle of nowhere, like using the tick-ta-ching sound from the Genesis Sonic games for the cash register, and like I had never experienced it for years, and then suddenly, for the first time while I was on a trip with my university's percussion ensemble a couple years ago, we'd stopped, just like Sonic just did. We'd stopped at a gas station on our drive to another university for a festival, and that was the first time I'd ever actually heard that sound being used at a cash register at a gas station. It was so weird, it was so surreal. I always thought it was made up, and then I experienced it for real for the first time. Ice Cap Act 2 does this really neat thing with its background, where background doesn't just change for Act 2, it changed already by the end of Act 1, and then when you go into underground sections, or like cave sections, or whatever you want to call them, in Act 2, the background changes again. It's just a cool detail. I like this game a lot. Ice Cap is a really visually impressive area. Oh, how do I get out of here? Oh, like that, I guess. Huh, never been down there before. I haven't usually missed that jump. And now I've missed it twice, so I guess that's special. Oh, right, I have more than 50 rings. It just keeps getting me. Just keeps getting me. Tails, you're messing up. You're messing up my trampoline. Please. Please, Tails. You're my only friend. Please act like it. Wow, that's so mean. I can't believe I just said that. I'm sorry, little buddy. I'm gonna take more rings and then take even more rings. Gimmicks where you get more height the more you do the thing are good. Oh, I just... Whoa! Walking real fast in there. Walking real fast in the air there. Hi, Eggman. This boss is actually, like, the worst. Because, those little bursts of cold air will freeze you. And sometimes it's really hard not to get frozen. I can't remember if it's possible to break out of being frozen without getting hurt in this game like it is in Sonic CD. I don't think it is, though. I'm pretty sure if you get frozen, you just have to take that. Which always felt like insult to injury, but whatever. We're already into the last zone of Sonic 3. It's already over. It's so short. Just 6 whole zones, 2 acts each. But this is launch base. Stuff is going on here. This is where, you know, we've had the narrative focus this whole game, but this is where the story actually has some importance to like the progression of environments and what's actually happening in the world. You may notice there, in the background, the Death Egg from Sonic 2. Not that we got to see much of the outside of the Death Egg in Sonic 2. You get a better view of it from Sonic 2's Level Select, which has these little icons for each zone, which is really cool. Oh, I didn't jump high enough. That's okay, I'll jump high enough next time. I like the use of coming out to the snow at the beginning of this zone. You can see on the level select icons in Sonic 2, which you have to unlock the level select through a code in the sound test. You can see the Death Egg there, in miniature. It is, in fact, a big old orb, just like the Death Star from Star Wars. It's just a parody of the Death Star. I mean, we all know this. But it's just so funny when it's so obvious when you're actually looking at the dang thing. Anyway, it crashed at the end of Sonic 2 after we beat up Eggman's robot on it and caused the whole thing to start exploding for some reason. Just cause and effect, that's how it works. And now in Sonic 3, Eggman's like, you know what? I think that was a really good idea. I'm gonna try it again. And so he does. And the Death Egg is here, in Launch Base, where he's planning to throw it back up in the air again, into space. You know, that's why it's the Launch Base. He's launching the Death Egg. As it turns out, if I remember correctly, this is why the floating island is in the ocean. It's because the Death Egg fell on the dang thing when it crashed. So that's why it's here, of course. And so this launch base is this launch site that Eggman constructed after the Death Egg fell to try to get it back up into space. So this is the first area on Angel Island that we can assume Eggman definitely made for his own purposes. Harlem Night feels kind of weird as like a place that may have existed on this island with only one resident, which is Knuckles. He's the only person here before any of this game happens. But I don't know. Maybe the ancient echidnas liked carnivals. I mean, you know, they seem like a festive group. Maybe. I mean, you know, if Sonic Adventure is anything to go by, they seem kind of like a fascist group, and, you know, if there's anything fascist love, it's being self-congratulatory, so... Maybe that's what Carnival Night was for. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows anything? The important thing is, we're here in Launch Base, and the Death Egg is back there, and that's kind of freaky and messed up. What's gonna happen? Maybe we don't want anything to happen, so let's try to make nothing happen. Launch Base is appropriately a little more dangerous than previous zones in the game. Uses a lot more... Oh, rude. Has a lot more enemies that... Or has a lot more use, rather, of the same enemy that is difficult to dispatch because it's covered in spikes and it hurts. It's got these crusher objects more frequently, and it's got spikes that like to shoot out in places. Just kind of there. And it has more enemies that can hurt you from a distance. It's okay. It's a good send-off for Sonic 3, but it's not my favorite zone in the game or anything. It's just pretty okay. Oh, dang, it's Eggman. He goes up there. Fun fact, you can hit him, and if you hit him with Tails, he won't fly up. Or rather, if you don't get close enough to him that he flies up and you hit him with Tails... Wait! What are you doing here? God, you've been here at every turn, huh? Just messing everything up for us. Blowing up buildings, dropping bridges... What's your deal, buddy? As if we can't figure out what his deal is. He seems to be working in league with Eggman. But I wonder. Anyway, if you stay far enough from Eggman, that little scene before Knuckles blows up the building, and you have Tails hit him. Oh, I forgot how this boss makes the heads-up display flicker. So annoying. If you have Tails hit him 255 times, he'll pop. And I can't remember if that means the act can't progress as intended at that point. It might mean that. Or it just means that he popped. One or the other. Hey, welcome to Act 2! Music in Act 2 is pretty leisurely. This is kind of the only thing that kind of bugs me about the music in Sonic 3 throughout the entire game. It's just this one song feels... I don't know, some people have tried to reconcile its tone as like feeling like self-assured and determined and you know, like, we're gonna go take care of what's going on, just from, like, Sonic and Friends perspective, but for me, it's always just felt kind of lackadaisical. It's just like, oh, it's a pretty good day here in Launch Base. You know, nothing bad's going on. It's just cool. Just having a nice time. And it just feels so goofy to me. It's not like it ruins it or anything. It's just I don't like the tone it establishes personally. I feel like it could stand to be a little more serious. Oh well. It's really the only sour spot in the soundtrack for me. Let's see. If you want to get over there safely, which we have to get this gate down, you gotta run over here and safely land on those waters instead of jumping on them. Or, you know, you can just jump on them and lose all your rings, that's fine. You're okay with that. Some people are okay with that. I'm not, though, because I'm a perfectionist. No, but I'm a perfectionist. I'm supposed to be perfect. Anyway. This is another case of just the zone having water in it. It's just what it's like in Sonic 3. Launch Base has water, Carnival Night has water, Angel Island has water. And then, obviously, Hydra City has water. Don't expect to see any water in Sonic and Knuckles, though. There isn't any. Just isn't any. I don't know why. The quote-unquote second half of Sonic 3, which I don't know why I said quote-unquote, it is the second half of Sonic 3, doesn't have any water in it at all, which lessens the utility of the bubble shield, which is unfortunate. You know, it'd be cool if the bubble shield had just a little more reason to exist. Rings. What is over here? Where are we going? Oh, there's a ring here. It's worth noting, this is true in Sonic 2 as well, but being super does not grant you immunity to drowning. Doesn't mean it's not fun to be super in the water, though. I guess we want to go this way? Was I going backwards this whole time? Is that what's going on? I think that might have been what's going on, especially with the spring here, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I remember going this way before. Wait, why'd that checkpoint point us to the right then? What was it doing that for? That's what confused me the whole time. Oh, this is annoying when you're fast. There we go. And then I jumped the miss. Okay, we'll just do this. Fire shield? Why not? It literally doesn't mean anything when we're invincible because the only passive benefit the fire shield has is protection from fire, which we're already invincible, so it doesn't matter. The passive abilities of the other two shields are actually useful when you're invincible, or when you're super. Since, you know, again, you can still drown when you're super, and bringing in more rings when you're super is really nice. It means you're super for longer. Speaking of which, we're not going to be super for much longer, unless we pick up some rings, which I don't think that's going to be happening. Yeah, it looks like we're out of luck. Oh, pick up a ring right after. I'd like to grab these rings as well. Just 'cause, you know, I'm a little short on rings, and I'd like to not be. Oh, thanks, Tails. Tails is a helpful little buddy. Tubes. Everybody loves tubes. This is simply a fact of humanity. Oh! I shouldn't have insta-shield there. That's what caused me to grab both monitors. So the insta-shield is pretty cool, but it's not my favorite ability for Sonic, personally. It's still very good, though, and it's also best in this game compared to the other classic Sonic games. The other classic Sonic game and the other two not classic Sonic games that have had the insta-shield. Actually, the other three non-classic Sonic games that have had the insta-shield. 4? I can't remember if all 3 Advance games have it, or if only Advance 1 and 2 do. Or if only Advance 1 and 3 do. I don't remember, but it's in Advance 1, it's in Sonic Generations, and that's all I know for a fact. Do your own research if you want to know things. I don't want to know things, so I didn't do any research, so hopefully that explains where I'm at right now. Why I can't tell you anything. Because I don't know anything. We're going all over the place. Level design is very happening. I do kind of wish Launch Base was over already. I didn't insta-shield with good timing. That's the only way to deal with those Orbinauts. If you're Sonic. If you're Knuckles, there is no way. If you're Tails, there's also no way. Yes, you can play as Knuckles. I know I've been coy about a bunch of random stuff just for no reason this whole playthrough, but yes, you can play as Knuckles if you play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But not in base Sonic 3. Don't work that way in base Sonic 3. That was a little boss, but it's not the Act 2 boss. No, Act 2 is not over yet. Still quite a bit to go. Hi, Knuckles. Oh yeah, you think you're real funny. Okay, well we have not prevented the Death Egg's launch. At least not yet. This is our last shot. We don't want that thing going back up in the air. God help us. We'll have to take it down from the inside again. You know, just a nice leisurely stroll in Eggman's Eggmobile. Alright, that was enough of that. Now for the actual Act 2 boss. This boss is funky, and can also be a little hard to bounce away from if you're bouncing on it. Because you want to be careful bouncing on it, because it's got that little spike ball hovering around it. It's also almost done. I think it only has one hit when it has just the one chunk remaining. Let's find out. Yeah, it does. Bye. And that was that. That's Launch Base Act 2, and that's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Oh. Never mind. Check it out, it's Big Arm. Oh, Big Arm sucks. This is a boss that only Sonic 3 has, unless you're playing as Knuckles in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in which case you also fight Big Arms, which is a choice. There's a weird thing with Big Arm in Sonic 3 where if you go super, he can still hurt you with a very specific attack. If you jump into his hands at any point, he will grab you and slam you down, which is awful. And it can knock you out of being super, which a lot of people, when they were very young, and when they were older than young as well, thought for a long time was intentional. As it turns out, it's not, which is wild. It kind of makes some sense to think of it as intentional, because it's like this special final boss. Whoa! How crazy is that, that just like Knuckles in the intro of this game, this boss can knock you out of being super? But no, it was developer oversight. Which is just interesting. I can't remember how many hits this boss takes. I think it's more than 8. I wasn't counting. Either way, it's over. And that for real was Sonic 3. Uh-oh. Looks like we're heading into freefall. How is Sonic going to escape this one? There's the Death Egg. Tried to get it up there, and it didn't work out. Guess we'll never be seeing that again. Definitely not. Definitely not in the next game or anything. And that's Sonic 3. It's a good game. Pretty short. It's fun. Level design's really tight. It's good. Introduces a lot of new gameplay mechanics and concepts to the franchise that are very welcome. Up until Sonic Mania happened, I would have absolutely called it the high point of 2D Sonic. Every 2D Sonic game after this is either a little worse or a lot worse. A lot of them are still good games. There's a lot of reason to enjoy Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic Rush Adventure, and Sonic Colors. On DS, I mean. But I don't think any of them are quite as solidly structured or paced as Sonic 3 is. Or solidly designed. And that's just that. But then Sonic Mania happened, and I love Sonic Mania. You know what? I like Sonic 3 also. Sonic 3 is also not done. Of course, we have Sonic and Knuckles to come up. So, soon after this, we'll be hopping onto Sonic and Knuckles and finishing up the narrative that Sonic 3 starts. That's honestly about as much as I got to say about this game, so I'm gonna hop out, enjoy the rest of Sonic 3's credits, and I'll see you all next time for more video games. There's always more video games. Just kidding, I'm back already. Hi everybody, this is Post-Production Crep. I'm currently editing this video, and I realized toward the very end of it that you can tell I'm playing a ROM hack and not regular Sonic 3, and that's because Knuckles' socks are green in all the cutscenes. In regular Sonic 3, his socks are yellow due to palette conflict issues with the cutscenes. You can't display that many colors at once on the Genesis. It's just kind of the matter of it. Anyway, the reason I'm playing on a ROM hack is because I'm playing Sonic 3 Complete. It's a well-known bug fix, graphical fix kind of thing for Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And it has the option to turn music off, which I used so that I could replace the Carnival Night Ice Cap and Launch Base music with the music from the Sonic 3 prototype found and dumped toward the end of last year. That's all, it was just for fun, it was for jokes, but I had to go and explain it all because it was really obvious in the end that I did it. Oh well. Also, Sonic 3 Complete puts this cutscene here at the very end as a teaser for Sonic and Knuckles, which is what we're going to be playing next, so look forward to that. Bye.